listening to your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
אתם מקשיבים למוח שלכם בשידור. התוכנית תתחיל בקרוב. תהנו.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I am your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. And folks, I'm just going to say it so that nobody else has to. I'm going to say it. I'm going to do it. All right? I'm going to do it. Kurt Cobain was a spun-out geek who faked intellectualism, and I'm sorry, he was an average guitar player, and he didn't live a life sad enough to warrant blasting himself in the face, folks. I'm sorry, it's just true. He's one of those most glazed and overrated musicians of all time. He's the River Phoenix of the music world. I've been saying that for a long time. A star that, he burned brighter than average, for sure, but then he crashed into the sea, and before accomplishing really anything that was really, extreme, you know what I mean? He had a kid that he left behind, but that's how important is that? Anyway, how's that daughter, Frances, Kurt? You know what I mean? I bet she's doing great. He says, actually, here, I have his letter, actually, right at the end here, he says, "Please keep going, Courtney, for Frances, for her life, which will be much happier without me. I love you. I love you." By the way, yeah, rare case where he might have been right. I don't know. No one needs to see Daddy in a haze on the couch. You know what I mean? He overdosed repeatedly. It's not as though he was, desperate to stay in the world, guys, let's be honest. I don't know. He overdosed repeatedly. He clearly wanted to go. I think he hated us as, the people who listen to his music as much as he hated life and himself. I'm tired of latchkey kids and millennials saying that this guy was the best thing since sliced bread. You bunch of slackers. The teachers were right about you kids back in the 90s. Straight slackers. I'm sorry, you bunch of slackers. Quit doing heroin. It's bad for you. And go inside, quit wash off the mud. I know that the 90s were fun, but listen to Andrea Bocelli. I'm trying to give some culture. Quit listening to long-haired idiots crooning into mics. His drummer ended up going to Foo Fighters. I'm pretty sure everything turned out all right in the end. Learning to walk again. That's a great song. Where do I begin? You know what I mean? I believe I've waited long enough. Where do we all begin today, folks? I know. How about the fact that Kurt Cobain's suicide back in 1994, a defining moment for what I like to call the slacker generation, it is now being re-examined as a homicide? What? I said, you're making me sound like Kyle's mom. I only grew up ever hearing that he blasted himself in the face because Courtney Love didn't love him enough. But apparently that was a lie.
A new independent investigation has raised doubts about the official account of Kurt Cobain's death, challenging the suicide ruling and citing evidence of a forced heroin overdose. More than 3 decades after the beloved rock star and Generation X icon's death shook the music world, a forensic team has presented a peer-reviewed paper with evidence claiming that Cobain may have been confronted by one or more assailants, possibly given a heroin overdose to incapacitate him and then shot in the head.
No way.
The report also claims that the shotgun found in his hands was allegedly placed in his arms. The latest investigation comes after a 1998 documentary by Nick Broomfield titled Kurt and Courtney ran with his theories, investigating the tragic death and claiming that murder could not be ruled out.
Dang.
Since then, there has been persistent conjecture.
Well, okay, why would you kill him? I mean, you'd get a lot if you guys were married. Was Courtney Love and him married? I'm sorry, my Gen X knowledge is not that deep. What was Kurt and Courtney married? Was Kurt and Courtney married? God, I ask that like a real American. Yes, Kurt and Courtney were married. They tied the knot officially February 24th, 1992 in an intimate ceremony on Waikiki Beach in Honolulu, Hawaii. Love was pregnant with their daughter, Frances Bean Cobain. What a middle name. Bean? The couple remained married for the next 2 years up until Cobain's death. You know, I'm gonna say it, and it's a satirical show, so I can get away with saying a lot of shit. That's how I've been getting away with my Nancy Guthrie story claims, because admittedly, we all know it's a massive distraction. I think maybe, I don't know, did Courtney Love do this? I don't think she may have organized it, but we're allowed to make theories about P. Diddy potentially sliming people out. We're allowed to make theories about Suge Knight and other folks in the rap music game, and I'm just gonna say it. If I think it's racist. racist, quite frankly. If we're not going to apply the same logic that, hey, people in the music industry can kill each other, if we don't apply that same logic to strung out white people from Seattle, if we don't apply that same logic to them that we do to black artists, I think it's kind of ridiculous to not, like, come on, like, guys, let's get real, okay? Our black brothers and sisters, our white neighbors, as we like to say, they are, like, you know what I mean? They are a lot more similar than we'd like to admit. They will kill they'll kill their spouses for a settlement. I think that's just true, and a lot of people don't want to admit that. But it's a thing that I think the music industry, it attracts a lot of these folks. I think
Cobain had been murdered, with conspiracy theories citing a supposedly tampered suicide note. Authorities have, however, refused to reopen the case despite mounting evidence and public scrutiny. The Nirvana frontman and grunge legend was found dead in his apartment on 5 April 1994 at the age of 27. His cause of death was ruled to be a self-inflicted shotgun wound to the face. As Cobain had been wrestling with drug abuse and depression for years.
Oh, he was born in 1967. Oh, I love how life just works out that way. Anyways, yeah, Kurt Cobain, from the limited research that I've done, like I said, I looked into his, I watched, it was a brief summation of his life, like things that we knew about him from early childhood. He was kicked around a lot, you know what I mean, in the sense where he didn't have a lot of stability. Oh my God, but I will give him shit for one thing. He was one of those whiny fucks that went ahead and, like, he didn't have a mother and a father who stuck together, and then he proceeded to complain the rest of his life for that they were not like other families, man. Why couldn't they just be like typical families? I think that was his exact words, typical families. But actually, the divorce rate at the time that his parents had been separating was 50%. So if anything, you could argue he was a product of a typical family at the time. And I never understood that. Your parents are going to make the choices that they do. Come on, just knock it off, grow up, don't bitch about it. It's going to happen. You know what I mean? People make their shitty choices, and eventually we're all going to fade away. And then guess what? You're probably going to outlive your parent. So you're probably going to be able to redefine their legacy however you'd like, but with the stories that you tell about them. So you will win in the end. Don't worry about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I love starting off these episodes with these, like, fun little tangents. I started off with Fargo homelessness a couple episodes ago, and I like start with a completely different thing, and then we get into the main stories. I like that. Tell me if you guys like the flow. I think that it goes well. We can go ahead and get into our first story. It involves the state of Minnesota and Operation Metro Surge, guys. It's coming to an end. It's official. You Half-Life players, you'll get this reference. The Combine, it's crazy. The Combine are leaving City 17. This could never be imagined. Let's go ahead. Minnesota federal immigration surge operation is to end, the United States border czar has said, folks. I would love to say this. For a controversial chapter in Minnesota's history coming to a close, I think that there's going to be a little more unsettlement. I don't know if more ICE agents or Border Patrol agents are going to be killing people. I just think it's going to be block to block. People are going to be killing people. I think that the fraud scheme is going to come back into the foresight, because we're not going to have all of the craziness with immigration to focus on, and we're going to actually have to talk about the Somali issue again, which we'll get to. Bananas and rice. Sorry, guys. It's true. If they show up in odd numbers, it's like, hey, New York considered banning Italians because, like, guess what? Italians were bringing in a lot of the mafia, and I kind of agree with it back during that time. I understand why they would limit that population of Italians. It's perfectly reasonable. You got to consider people from different cultures, have different values. They will behave in different ways. It's supported by the numbers. I'm sorry that the statistics back it up. The Minnesota federal immigration surge. This guy, Tom Homan, he came up and he put on the Mr. Potato Head, the glasses set, and he read out this statement, folks.
With that, in success that has been made arresting public safety threats and other priorities since this surge operation began, as well as the unprecedented levels of coordination we have obtained from state officials and local law enforcement, I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
Nice.
A significant drawdown has already been underway this week.
Good.
And will continue to the next week.
Good. Then here's what we can do, guys. We can get real about immigration, and we can go, all right, let's execute warrants in the night. Let's go to, like, sure, we're not going to show up at school. We're not going to show up at church. We're going to show up at your house, and we're going to give you, like, maybe a month to get your documents together. Otherwise, get in the van, and you're coming to this place with us. I'm sorry. That's how this is going to work eventually. Eventually, you're going to go door by door, and you're going to have to figure out the actual, the number, if you have not been keeping up with the statistics. 10 million, approximately 5 to 10 million is the assumption from the Biden years, resulting in the population of illegal immigrants in our country being, and these are estimates, people. Keep in mind, this is just the rough estimates, 15 to 30 million people. It could be less, it could be more. That's the situation that we're in. We have to deal with it seriously. These people need to leave. They can't be here. It's a fact. They came over in an unprecedented time of just open borders. It's unfortunate, but you have to acknowledge, if you're an honest person, the open border policy of the Biden administration. You have to. And it's the exact reason. By the way, in 100 years from now, they will say the ICE bullshit that happened in the Trump administration was an overcorrection for the bullshit that was happening in the Biden administration. That is what historians will say, and I will be proven right. I'm sorry, it's just true. Let's continue.
We have a lot of work to do across this country to remove public safety risk who shouldn't even be in this country, and to deliver on President Trump's promise for strong border security and mass deportation. Law enforcement officers drawing down from this surge operation will either return to their duty stations or be signed elsewhere to achieve just that. We will continue to enforce Title VIII immigration law throughout this nation. Prioritizing national security threats and public safety risks makes sense. But I'll continue to say over and over again, if you are here in the country legally, you're not exempt from our immigration laws. If we encounter you, we'll take appropriate enforcement action.
Boom.
For those that say we were backing down from immigration enforcement or the promise of mass deportations, you are simply wrong.
Well, you haven't been delivering on it, so knock it off. All right. Tom Homan, sorry, I got to call you out on this. You guys haven't been delivering on it. You didn't deliver on it last year, 605,000. That includes turnaways. I'm sorry, but and people will overly represent Obama's numbers with turnaways as well. I understand that, but even still, that's an embarrassing statistic. That's an embarrassing number. You guys are not delivering on the mass deportation, so you are over dramatizing the ones that you're able to get. That's just a fact. I'm sorry.
Look at the data. Record number of arrests and deportations under President Trump's first year.
Bling, bling, blong, lie.
And we'll continue that effort.
Lie. I'm sure you will.
Prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats doesn't mean we forget about everybody else.
Forget about everybody else. I love, where is he from? This is the most fun, colorful accent, except for maybe Cash Patel's weird, explainy kind of.
National security threats doesn't mean we forget about everybody else.
Forget about
we will
everybody.
take action on everybody else.
Take action on everybody else.
That's just a stone cold fact.
Stone cold fact.
A small footprint of personnel will remain for a period of time to close out and transition full command and control back to the field office, as well as to ensure agitator activity continues to decline. State and local law enforcement continue to respond to ensure
He's like a King of the Hill character. That's my favorite thing. There's state and local law enforcement.
Safety. Additionally, federal government personnel assigned to conduct criminal investigation into.
Can we get like someone to examine him for a stroke? I'm really nervous for him that he might have had some sort of neurological event. He's really slurring his words. This is not a joke. This is serious. You can see the guy in the gray suit next to him. He's giving him eye because he's like, do we have to remove him from the stage?
Additionally, federal government personnel assigned to conduct criminal investigation into the agitators, as well as the personnel assigned here for the fraud investigations.
He's like, I have to wear his life alert because he most of the time he's not quick enough to actually tap his own life alert. I have to wear it for him, and I have to be around him all the time.
Will remain in place until the work is done. I will also remain on the ground for a little longer to oversee the drawdown of this operation and ensure its success.
Whoa, he said sex. Oh, let's back it up, guys. Let's back it up, baddies. He said sex.
The drawdown of this operation and ensure its success.
Success. He's ensuring its success, man. All right. It's obvious that this is a response to Renee Good. It's obvious this is a response to Bruce Springsteen. Dude, I'm sorry to say it. His song was so cringe, and every person who is performatively on the left, they loved it. They bought it on iTunes. It's funny, and that's okay. It's okay. If he made it a version of Streets of Philadelphia, but he just changed the words a little bit, God, it would have been so much fucking... And I would have actually endorsed it. I would have said that it was better. But since he did this stupid through the winter's ice and cold, I had to compare it to Tom MacDonald on the right because it's this kind of... It's a cringy I don't like it. It's not... It's... Oh my God, we have to review Tom MacDonald's Pray for the Left. Pray for the Left is... Holy shit, have I played it on this? I don't think I have, but it's one of the... Okay, we'll get to it eventually. Anyways, parting words from Tom Homan. He said, President Trump made promise for mass deportation, and that's exactly what the country is going to get. Very strong words. We thank him. We're very grateful to him. Tom, you're going to save the world. You're going to save not only Minnesota, you're going to save us all, because... we should all be grateful. We should all be incredibly grateful. Actually, you know what? To close out this segment, I'm going to actually review one more thing. It's from another Tom. I'm going to play a little bit of his music because I don't think he'll try to copyright me. But even if he does, I don't give a shit because I'm giving him views. I'm giving him views, ladies and gentlemen. Tom MacDonald, he put out a song called Pray for the Left. And it is, if you've heard Tom MacDonald's music in the past, it's... Should I call it reedy? Should I call it white boy music? Should I call it mayonnaise monkey shit? I'm gonna call it mayonnaise monkey shit. It's the braids that don't do it for me. I don't know what his ethnicity background is, but he appears to be the strangest mix of like Moroccan and like white-blooded Norwegian, just blonde hair, blue eyes. Let's start Tom MacDonald's Pray for the Left, ladies and gentlemen, and I will leave it in the description if any of you would like to go ahead and show him some support, because he really would appreciate it, guys. Let's start.
They always said that Charlie Kirk was a Nazi, then they celebrated after they killed him. They tried to tell us that Black Lives Matter and that white people have always been villains.
Holy shit.
They burning flags in the streets and they scream at police, taking illegals to prison.
This is burger music.
They got rainbows on their bedroom walls and they swear
to God that men can be women. Jesus fuck. This is shit your dad listens to. I'm sorry. This is like if I slowed this down and he just did a little bit more, hold me now, I would sound just like Creed. I'm sorry.
They swear it's true. They set fire to Minnesota.
Soda.
They say that guns are dangerous. Guess they're the proof.
Jesus. Jesus fuck. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Kirk memes are the funniest thing ever. And if the George Floyd memes are the funniest thing ever. The Charlie Kirk memes are the funniest thing ever. And if you can't admit that, you're too far right or left. You have to understand that we as a society defile people. Politically, if you find them to be silly. Politically, if you find the people who are making them a saint to be silly. Like, the left looked at the right making Charlie Kirk this pseudo-saint, making, like, AI videos of him speaking at a church and shit. And they went, that's fucking goofy, let's make memes of him as, like, the 6'7" kid. And then people saw George Floyd, this fucking common crook, being, sanctified by the left, being called just this perfect person, when, he wasn't, you know what I mean? It's sad that he died, but then they turned him into this pseudo-saint figure, and people on the right saw that, and they made George Droid, which admittedly is hilarious. I'm sorry, but it is. Folks, let's just finish the chorus, and then we will move on to our next story, I swear to God. Jesus, fuck. pray for the left.
Pray for the left. They keep saying
Jesus. Okay, you're done. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You're done. Thank you so much, Tom. Tom MacDonald, ladies and gentlemen. He's burger music champion of the right. He is a defiler, not of Charlie Kirk or George Floyd, defiler of your ears. It's great music, and I really enjoy it, folks. I think that we should take a break for an ad read. I think that we got another story that we're gonna cover, but we're gonna make some money real quick. You know what I mean? We gotta do something to keep the lights on over here, folks. Are you tired of following rules? You know what I mean? The rules that people say our society has to be governed by. Are you tired of getting absolutely nowhere as a result of following the said rules? Is your moral compass pointing due north when you really would just want it to be heading anywhere, kind of at your own spirit or your own will? Then I think it's time for you to climb the ladder of success by jumping off the cliff of decency. Welcome to Frankism, ladies and gentlemen. It is the only spiritual movement where the path to heaven is paved with every sin in the book. Why would you pray for a miracle when you can simply become a contra Talmudist? It's very, it's actually do exactly what your parents and the law told you not to do. That's all you need to do. Their patented purification through transgression starter pack is designed for any modern nihilists who want results now. Are you guys tired of fasting? Turn those holidays into feast days. Are you bored with your spouse? Try our Langskraun social mixer. Guys, it's a corporate retreat, but it's more ritualized kind of wife swapping and dancing half naked around symbols. Whether you're interested in the Holy Sin seminar or you're looking to enroll in our masked assimilation program, we want to teach you to wear religion like a cheap suit, guys, because let's be honest with you. Religion is falling out. Everyone is doing the sort of magic with a K that Aleister Crowley used to do. Esoteric knowledge is coming into the forefold. Everybody's starting to learn about it way more. And I think you need to. If you know nothing about Aleister Crowley, if you know nothing about these deep worlds of lore, ancient Celtic ritual, all these sorts of things that people have been doing for years. It's your time to get into it now. Frankism, guys. Let's be clear, though. It's not responsible for any excommunication, social ostracization, or any sort of soul losing that you may experience. Participants also, they may experience a lot of spontaneous conversion to Catholicism, long stays in many monastery prisons, and the sudden urge to eat pork on Yom Kippur. Results may vary depending on your tolerance for 18th century orgies and your net worth. Folks, let's begin our next story because it's a doozy. It's unfortunate. We don't want to talk about another shooting. Wait, this one happened in Canada? That's a curious. Okay, I was gonna say if this took place in America, that'd be it's another day. But this happened in Canada. How curious. The Canada school shooting suspect, folks, it's been named in a press conference after killing 9 people. And the confusion is over. There has been a lot of confusion over the identity of said killer, but we're going to get into it. Let's just play the music. Start our next story. Authorities in British Columbia, they have officially identified the individual who is responsible for the devastating mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge. Folks, during a press conference Wednesday, RCMP Deputy Commissioner Dwayne MacDonald named the suspect as 18-year-old Jesse Van Root-Cellar. I think it's Cellar because the R is AAR. I think it's 2 A's. A local resident. The investigation has confirmed a total of 9 deaths, including the suspect. Tragedy began at a private residence where Van Root-Cellar's 39-year-old mother and 11-year-old stepbrother were killed before the suspect moved to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, taking the lives of 5 students and a teacher. Jesus fuck. So they massacred their family. This individual, who, let's get very clear, is a subscriber to the transgender ideology. And let's lay out the groundwork on pronouns. Let's lay out how we're going to refer to this person. I generally, what's it called? If I know you in person and you identify any particular way, I'll respect your pronouns because I'm polite. You know what I mean? I think that it's the nice thing to do. Do I think that in the background, people get silly with zerzims and shit like that? Sure. The they-thems, I kind of get that one a teensy bit. Do I think that it should be allowed on government papers? I don't know. That seems ridiculous to me, you know what I mean? Do I believe that Caitlyn Jenner truly believes that Caitlyn is Caitlyn? Yes. Do I believe that Bruce Jenner is in many ways like committed to this identity? Yeah, absolutely. And as a result, I'll call her governor. I'll call her governor of California. She listen, guys, I in regards to like the transing of people who over the age of 18, go for it. I think that's like, you're right. In many ways, it's a lot smaller than a lot of people like to admit, because it is less than like a 1% chance of it happening. It's very exceedingly rare. Anyways, the pronouns of which this person would have preferred to go by doesn't really matter to me. I think that we need to just get our facts straight. The Sun, give us what we know. Jesus Christ, stop with the artsy shots. Just
On arrival, there was active gunfire, and as officers approached the school, rounds were fired in their direction. Officers entered the school to locate the threat. Within minutes, an individual confirmed to be the shooter was located deceased, with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, who is a resident of Tumbler Ridge.
So, according to this photo, a gentleman, what it appears to be. A gentleman who may have identified as a she at a time, because they I remember the initial reporting was that it was a girl in a dress. That's what I actually read last episode. I'd like to correct my statement. It is a man falsely identifying as a woman because they are below the age of 18. I believe that gender dysphoria is a real condition. I believe that it is like we knew what it was. It is a condition more so than it is like an authentic, genuine way of being. I believe that it is, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have a high suicidality rate, and it has been diagnosed in the past for thousands of years. Let's be honest. Like, I understand that we want to be accommodatory to people, especially now in our more educated times, and that's beautiful, but we have to acknowledge the actual rates of manic thinking, the bipolar rates in these communities. It is exceedingly higher. The rates of mental illness in the transgender community are exceedingly higher than any other community. And many people will blame that on oppression. Many people will blame that on they're not allowed to live the way that they'd like, so they do experience these mental... You can blame it on whatever you'd like. The facts are what they are. So this person was falsely identified as a female. I remember I read it as a girl in a dress when the headline came out, because that's all that Canada said. And then I immediately got suspicious when the person that was reporting this, the sheriff, said, the gun person has been identified. Well, guys, I really don't want transgender individuals like this fella, where he is identifying as a woman to falsely overinflate the numbers of women that are shooting up schools. I don't want that to be the case. And by the way, women don't deserve credit for that, in the sense where I'm not saying like, oh, women don't deserve credit for shooting up schools. I'm saying you guys don't deserve the flack for something that my gender continues to do. This is a man. This is born a male who identified as a female, but then Canada falsely attributed this shooting to a female. So that falsely gets tallied under females shooting up schools. That's not accurate then, because this individual is a male. I don't want women getting the flack for shit that men are doing. I'm sorry.
2 firearms, a long gun and a modified handgun, were recovered by responding officers. Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation. We identified the suspect as they chose to be identified in public and in social media. I can say that Jesse was born as a biological male who approximately, the information that I have, approximately 6 years ago began to transition to female.
At the age of 12? This person was 18. This person was 18, meaning they transitioned 6 years ago. No. You can't begin to transition at that age. You can't. You are not a formulated person with decent enough thoughts. And I know that we want to, as liberal-minded people, treat children like they're oracles of intelligence who really, they get the world with an unfiltered, unracist, pure lens. That's not true. They're idiots, actually. They don't know anything. They are actually rude, nasty, and really selfish most of the time. And really greedy, and will beat up their siblings if you do not, get them in order. People will beat up their siblings. If they don't have a voice in their head telling them not to, they'll do it. And what I'm trying to say is that it's like humans are not naturally good. They are not naturally inclined to good behavior. They'll do these sorts of things in their private life, and they will not let you know because that's just how it is.
And identified as female, both socially and publicly.
In total, 9 people are dead, 8 plus the suspect. Cops initially said 10, but had died, but 1 person is in critical condition. They put out an alert for a female in a dress with brown hair. In a later briefing, the gun person was in a dress. They did not provide any further information about the identity.
We have a history of police attendance at the family residence. Some of those calls are...
Well, that's surprising.
were related to mental health issues. With respect to our suspect, I can say that on different occasions, a suspect was apprehended for assessment and follow-up. It is believed the victims of that residence and the suspect are family members.
What a goon. What the parents?
Yes, the female adult victim is the mother of the suspect, and the youth male...
Yeah, if you're thinking about letting your kids go down any path of self-discovery too early, guys, guess what? This could be you. This could be you. Sorry to say it. If you let your child think that they know shit too early on, if you don't let them know, hey, your perspective is limited. You have a phone, but that doesn't mean that you know shit about anything. Your child is going to think that they know enough to the point where they're going to get egotistical, they're going to get a huge head, and they're going to go, hey, I know what's right. And what's right is I got to go Kablowski on my friends at school. That's what they're going to start thinking. If you indulge children too much, if you let children think that they know anything too much, they will end up like this. They need to learn. They need influence. They need influence from adults because adults know how it is. I'm sorry, whatever.
Brother of the suspect or stepbrother. I will say that, again, I'm not trying to be too circumspect, but police have attended that residence in the past, approximately a couple of years ago, where firearms were seized.
Jeez.
Under the criminal code. I can say that at a later point in time, the lawful owner of those firearms petitioned for those firearms to be returned, and they were.
It's obviously a very difficult day for the nation this morning.
Mark Carney. Guys, I love Mark Carney. He's my favorite prime minister we've had for the longest time. Stephen Miller was one of my favorites because I love how much he hated marijuana. He was like, it might be worse than alcohol. And then Justin Trudeau came along. Everybody was in love with him for the longest time. Family Guy glazed the fuck out of him for no reason. I think it's because Seth MacFarlane is a diehard liberal. He is just like I'm sorry to say, it is very factually well known that he is like, no, everybody should take the vaccine regardless of, like, if you're, like, in your 20s and you're, like, really healthy and whatnot. Like, he's dedicated deep in, he's, like, praise Anthony Fauci levels of deep. I'm sorry to say it. I love his content. I love... American Dad's a funny-ass show. I watch it when I'm high all the time. But Seth MacFarlane is a deep lefty. That's just the truth.
Parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers in Tumbler Ridge will wake up without someone they love.
I love how Mark Carney, you've mastered the quivering jaw. He's like, someone will wake up to someone. Someone will wake up without someone they love, and then his chin shakes a little bit, and he's like, "This is just
nation is with you.
Nation is with you.
Canada stands by you."
Canada.
So for the deceased victims, the school included a 39-year-old female educator, 3 12-year-old female students, 2 male students ages 12 and 13. And then the 2 additional victims were a 39-year-old female and an 11-year-old male that were located deceased at the local residence.
Jeez Louise, folks. I mean, the community, it's only 2,400 people, which is very little, honestly. That's a very tiny community. They're focusing on what remains of the survivors and the 27 individuals who were injured in the attack. Police have also recovered a long gun, modified handgun from the school, noting that while the suspect had previously held minor firearms license, it had expired in 2024 and no weapons were legally registered to her. Him. Excuse you. God damn it. This fucking article made me read her. It almost made me respect their pronouns. Prime Minister Mark Carney has ordered flags to fly at half-mast across the country as Canada enters a week of mourning. Guys, I'm sorry. Maybe it's just because I'm American. A week seems a little long. Like, maybe it's because we gave up on doing, like, at this point in school, if we have a school shooting and they take out the shooter, they like lead the kids back into school. They're like, let's get back to work, kids. It's like, we don't take a week off. We don't do anything and then they go, hey, do you think we should like lower the flag a little bit for like lunch maybe? And they go, what the fuck are you talking about? We have paperwork to do by 3. And it's like, all right, whatever. And then by the time that it's like the end of the day has come, another 5 have happened. But it's I don't know. Maybe it's my American complex, but it's like a week is a little long. Whatever. No weapons were legally registered to him. Prime Minister Mark Carney, obviously, mourning for what is now the deadliest mass shooting in the nation. One of the deadliest mass shootings in the nation's history. I was about to say the deadliest. Damn, no, it's the second deadliest school shooting specifically. Prayers for Canada, as they like to pronounce their name. Did I hear a garbage truck going by? That's a perfect transition. Honestly, sadness for them. Does this mean we shouldn't let trans people buy guns? I don't think so. I don't think that's what it means. I think that maybe we should talk about the actual mental situations that a lot of people with gender dysphoria find themselves in. I think that that's an important thing. Maybe we should look into mental health treatment for especially a lot of these people that are clearly slipping through the cracks in liberal dream Canada, where you take 6 months to see a fucking doctor. Sure, it's free, but by the time that you see him, that lump in your breast has grown to a third tit. It's just true, but like Canada's not this. It's not this gene. It's what's it called? This gene wearing, washed hair. Perfect, what's it called? The Norwegians? That's why the English people, they had to kill all the Norwegians because their wives kept falling in love with the Norwegians. They were like, fuck these Nordics, they keep washing their hair. They keep looking so much prettier than us, we gotta kill all of them. So Canada, they have this liberal washed hair where it's like, guys, we have free healthcare and shit. Guys, we do all of these social programs and whatnot. Yeah, we have exorbitant tax rates, and we take a lot more from our population per capita, even people that are less rich than the wealthy in America, like when you look at it percentage wise. But whatever, guys, we're this perfect dream. And by the way, that people in America have fallen for it if they're throwing out, hey guys, let's move to Canada. If they're unhappy with any election, whether it's Biden's election, for some reason Trumpies, they were going like, let's move to Canada. It's like they're more liberal than us. During the Biden years, Canada was more liberal than us, and whatever. The Trump administration now moves in and people are like, let's move to Canada. What are you even thinking? You think you're going to escape any of this? The people in Canada were also in the files. You think that you're going to get away from the people who are running your life, you will never escape them unless you go into the ocean. Unless you see that one picture in the Epstein files with that trap door that leads into the ocean. That's where you're going down one day. By the way, for paupers like us, like me and you, normal folks that don't have like $1 billion sitting in their bank account, that's the destiny for all of us. It's like, I'm going to get taken out by the CIA. I'm going to get taken out by the Mossad. My city block, you know what I mean? It might just one day out of nowhere, because Israel is like, we don't really love where this podcast is going. Maybe if I get more than 100 subscribers, they'll go, let's just take it out early. You know what I mean? Let's just fucking whatever. And then suddenly they just, and then I'm gone. You know what I mean? That's just like, it's the world we live in, guys. I'm sorry. If you're an ordinary person like me, and even if you're, by the way, if you have like a 6-figure fortune, you're still like me. And even if you have a 7-figure fortune, you're probably still like me. Unless you're in the 8, 9-figure whatevers, you're going to be just like me. You're going in the water. You're going to be thrown into Lake Superior after you have been like viciously assaulted on a yacht. That's the destiny. By the way, sorry, the Vikings owner was mentioned in the Epstein files. I want to get his exact name. What is the Minnesota Vikings owner Epstein? Very fun. Yes, Minnesota co-owner Mark Wilf is mentioned in the January-February 2026 release of the Epstein files. His connection is he was a potential buyer for one of Epstein's homes in Paris or Long Beach. Interesting. The documents indicate that the 2015 emails regarding the property had 20 showings. The closest was probably Mark Wilf to the Vikings. Interesting. That is so bizarre. For all of you goyim who really love the NFL, I'm sorry, that's a major blow that like one of the key owners of like I'm a Minnesotan. I've always supported the Vikings, just kind of like pseudo-y because I'm from there. I have to. But like the people who tune into it, it's like, that's goyim stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? He's in the files with all of these people going like, leave the goyim to their Saturday night football. Whatever. What day do they do football? I don't know. But it's the big distraction. It's the huge distraction, and that's what's beautiful about it. And I'm no better. I love to talk about how I like all of these things, but the people who don't watch football are no better because guess what? They're on Steam. They're playing video games. They're watching YouTube. We like to say that we're any better. Guess what, guys? We're on Reels. We're not reading books. Do you think any of us are out there? Like, how many Gen Z people, honestly, of our age group, do you think are out there reading Esoteric Knowledge or Meditations by Marcus Aurelius? How many of us have read Atlas Shrugged? How many of us are interested in actual deep, fascinating thoughts? I don't think very many. Most of us want to come home at the end of the day and watch YouTube and eat Taco Bell. That's the dream for so many people my age, because guess what? Our brains were rotted with that vision, that Shane Dawson Friends vision of coming home, eating slop, goy slop, watching nothing, communicating nothing, engaging with nothing, having no appreciation for art, existing in this state of consuming nothing. Fucking you like, you know what I mean? Like you watch Coach back in the 90s. You know what I mean? Sure, it was a funny show, but it was all to keep you from actually like reading something. It was like, guess what? When you're engaging with like, what's it called? The Housewives of Tel Aviv, that's keeping you from engaging with anything interesting. It's keeping you from learning about history. Did you know that the Nazi Party has ties to the Thule Society, which was an occult society that was fascinated with ancient knowledge and was like it was the predilect to the National Socialist Party of Germany. No one knows that. No one knows that the Nazis got their start in the occult, that they were fascinated with the occult knowledge. No one knows about that. They'll just go, Hitler was bad. And it was like military conflict, but they don't know the ins and outs of like, oh yeah, Hitler was like a pagan. He was like a freak about all of these things. He was like a witch. He was into these ceremonies, to these rituals. It's just a fact. And that's okay. That's okay. History has been cleansed to just be, hey, this military doesn't like this military. Hey, these people have kicked these people out of a country, but it's just because they hated them for no reason. It's not because they were engaging in usury. It's not because they were whatever. You know what I mean? Our society is a fascinating place. Our society is a beautiful one, and I love living in it with you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we need to go ahead and get into the rapid fire section of today's headlines. Folks, there's a lot of shit you need to know about to keep your media diet healthy. I'm going to give it to you all in little slices. So I can't write 3 to 4 paragraphs to everything. So, there's a historic Bangladesh general election underway. Voters in Bangladesh, they're casting their ballots in a pivotal general election, the first since 2024, uprising that ousted the longtime leader Sheikh Hasina. The vote, also accompanied by the constitutional referendum on major reforms, represents a key test of the democratic renewal. Folks, I hopefully it goes well. Ukraine athletes have been disqualified from the Olympics for refusing to remove their war tribute helmet. What?
And Patrick, there's this story coming out of the Olympics we want to talk about. Ukrainian skeleton slider has been disqualified from the games after refusing to race without a helmet that was honoring Ukraine's athletes and coaches killed in the war. What else do we know?
Yeah, Perry, this is a very painful and very controversial story involving the Ukrainian skeleton racer Vladislav Heraskevich, who had refused, as you say, to take off this helmet while...
Well, it's an ugly helmet. Like, it's this gray helmet with a bunch of, like, gray, stretched-out pictures. One of these poor victims, it looks like it's a helmet covered in pictures of people who've died throughout the war or something, but I feel bad for the victims because the warping that happened, because they're stickers. He turned them into stickers to put on the helmet. Their faces got warped as a result because they have to crease to the helmet. And now their foreheads all look huge, and it's sad. It's not good.
It showed basically photographs of 24 Ukrainian athletes and children who had been killed during Russia's full-scale invasion. And he had said that he insisted on wearing this during the race. The IOC had been pleading with him not to insist on that, saying they offered him alternatives like wearing a black armband to show commemoration and even to be wearing the helmet elsewhere during the games. But he believed that it was a point of principle and essential to honor his friends who had died during this war. We know that the IOC president tried to have a last-ditch meeting with him, emerged from that meeting in tears after he still declined not to wear the helmet. We've heard also today from President Zelensky calling him a hero and awarding Heraskevich with a Medal of Freedom.
Good for him. Hopefully the elections go well that they're holding pretty soon. I'm so happy that the pseudo-dictator, now we can call him, because he's kind of elected. He was elected a while ago, and then he refused to hold elections, but now he's holding them again. So he's about as democratic as, let's call it, Russia, because admittedly, Putin is way more popular in his country than we'd like to admit, and his election, he does hold elections. I don't know how fair they are. I don't know how real they are, but he does hold them, and now Ukraine is just following in their footsteps. It's beautiful. They're like a tiny Russia. You know, they even kind of match the shape a little bit. Anyways, there's a nationwide strike in India against the U.S. trade deal. Major union and farmers groups across India are launching a nationwide strike to protest the new interim trade deal with the United States. They're arguing that it's going to flood the Indian market with subsidized imports and hurt the local agricultural and labor exports. I mean, whatever you do, you do. And if you want to screw up your at-home economy, that's okay. It doesn't really affect me yet. I don't know if cashmere is going to become more expensive, but we'll see. As we've covered, the UK has announced major military aid to Ukraine amid the ongoing war. The United Kingdom has pledged approximately $540 million in weapons, interesting, in a defense aid to Ukraine as the war with Russia is intensifying. They actually, this is breaking maybe an hour ago, they launched fresh strikes, fascinatingly enough, part of Western efforts to bolster Kiev's defense against escalating Russian strikes on civilian infrastructure. It's getting bad over there. Man was also cried about missing, I love this. This is 3 days ago. A man, he murdered his ex-partner, and he wept in tears over fears that he was going to miss the release of a new video game.
Then we'll sit down with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss GTA.
He's British, and he said, "I'm gonna miss GTA, isn't it?" That... I love it. I love it so much. I love the Brits. I love the Brits so much. You're my favorite people. They're breeding tough up north. That's what they do. Immigration politics and public opinion in the United States. Recent polling shows mistrust and backlash towards the United States immigration enforcement tactics in urban areas. Well, they're pulling back, thankfully enough now. So I think that now we can begin executing these warrants quietly. Now we can do what the Obama administration did in some regard. We can... Oh, you know what else we should bring back from the Obama administration? The Tuesday morning John Brennan kill list. Ladies and gentlemen, during the Obama administration, John Owen Brennan, if you don't know him, he was the former director of the Central Intelligence Agency from March 2013 to, I believe, it was January 2017. Yeah, because it would have been around the time that he was ousted, Obama was ousted. Anyways, he had this ritual every Tuesday where they would construct a list of people. They would get together in the room and they would create a list of people that they would kill every week, including sometimes American citizens and abroad people and whatnot. it was just something that we did, and they had to pose clear present threats to the United States, but they would routinely do this, and this is something they would execute during the Obama administration, where they would just do every week. Let's figure out who we're going to go out there and kill this week, guys, and then they'd come back next Tuesday and do it again. Why not do that this, you know what I mean? The Obama administration was blood hungry. I'm sorry. It was ruthless. It's just true. And if you don't know about that, if you don't know about the drone program, if you just go, oh yeah, Obama, no drama Obama. That's not an accurate descriptor. He had his drama in his own way. For example, what about the fact that he, under him, the IRS targeted many people that were of conservative leans? That's fascinating. And then eventually, someone took the fall for it. You know what I mean? They put it off. Google it. I don't have the time to get into it. Immigration and politics, folks. We're moving on. We're not going to do that. The United States is suing. States are suing over health funding cuts tied to political disputes. If you don't know, the attorney generals from several Democratic-led states, they have filed many lawsuits against the federal government over hundreds of millions of dollars in public health grants cuts that are contending the financial moves are retaliatory for opposition and to federal immigration policies. But they're basically saying, according to this, that we don't agree with how you're doing immigration enforcement. We're going to cut your shit. Whatever, that's how they do it. It's not right. I don't personally agree with it, but what am I going to do? I didn't do it. Why are you mad at me? Munich Security Conference has also loomed amid the global geopolitical tensions, folks. The annual 62nd Munich Security Conference is about to begin. Let's bring together the world leaders to talk about and tackle the global challenges, the war in Ukraine, Middle East, cyber threats, all of those sorts of things, significant protests and whatnot all over the world. We're kind of erupting right now. It's a very fun time to be a human. You're living through a great time to be alive if you're just kind of living for the stories that you're going to tell your grandkids or grandnephews one day. Anyways, let's finish it up, and then we'll get into our final story that we'll cover. Because, we got to cover it, obviously. Until they find her dead, I will make it the last story of the episode every day. We're gonna do our final update on Nancy Guthrie there. But anyways, U.S. political battles are continuing over the trade and congressional rebukes in domestic politics. Several Republican members of Congress have defied the administration by blocking tariffs on Canada. They're signaling an intra-party disagreement over the trade policy and executive power. The GOP is splitting a lot in regards to MAGA is not with traditional Republicans. Traditional Republicans are not with Fuentes supporters, the Groypers. Their Groypers are... I'm sorry, they have a lot more influence than a lot of people would like to admit. They're all over Instagram Reels. It's bled into the mainstream. That was, guess what? Charlie Kirk, you can give him whatever bullshit you want. His kind of focused on Christian inclusionism message was the only thing that was holding back the major force of Groypers, which, if you don't know, are admitted white nationalists. So, what else are we supposed to say except for the fact that, hey, you might have killed somebody that you didn't very much agree with. I'm guessing that it wasn't actually that Tyler Robinson kid who killed him, but even if it was a left-wing person who killed him, you just went ahead and opened the gates for the actual people you were really worried about. But anyways, I do think it was Israel, as a matter of fact. I believe it was Benjamin Netanyahu who killed Charlie Kirk. But anyways, that's regardless. Let's begin our next and final story, ladies and gentlemen, and then I will release you for the day. You can begin whatever it is you were supposed to do. It's Thursday. Enjoy yourself. Search for Nancy Guthrie. They're yielding thousands of tips. That's really narrowing the search, ladies and gentlemen. The FBI, they've reviewed the surveillance video of the masked man at her door. There have been black gloves found in the search for her around her property, apparently. Let's review this clip from ABC News, ladies and gentlemen. But before that, it's reached a fever pitch today. Pima County Sheriff's Department reported an unprecedented flood of public participation in just the last 24 hours. Officials have said they've received over 4,000 calls to their dedicated tip line. The massive surge of information is also, we have to admit, this is partially because of the FBI's release of the surveillance video showing the masked guy on the Guthrie's porch. The night she vanished, investigators are now working around the clock to vet these leads. They're hoping that it's going to provide the missing piece that they need to locate her. She's unfortunately dead, as we all already know. I've been saying this for a long time. That's okay. You know, it's just how it is. However many days ago, they said that she needed her medication every 10 hours. She's dead. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate. That, or this is, you know what I mean? Well, let's talk about the theories. Many people have said this could be, if you don't know, Savannah Guthrie interviewed, what's her, God damn it. Virginia Giuffre. God damn it, I never slip on names, but Virginia Giuffre. I'm going to leave that in because I need you guys to remember I'm human. I slip on even the most basic names sometimes. But Virginia Giuffre, if you don't know, Giuffre, let's pronounce it Giuffre. She is one of the key survivors of Epstein, one of the key people. She suicided herself, apparently. This is, let's be honest, she was killed because she apparently had no will to live. She got into a car accident that ruined her life or whatever, and she just couldn't, even though she said she would never quit, she quit one day, I guess. Virginia Giuffre was interviewed by Savannah Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie is the Today Show co-host, who currently, her mother has been kidnapped. If you don't think that is a little strange, that right around the time that the Epstein files would drop, the woman who interviewed one of the key survivors, her mother gets kidnapped. Out of nowhere, her mother gets kidnapped. Does that not seem to me like either she is A, being punished for her interview, or B, is a fall guy for something grander than she might even understand, or something that she could partially be involved in? Those are all the theories that I think could be plausible. They're kind of the direction I'm leaning versus, oh, someone just kidnapped her. I'm starting to really doubt that. That's really not all the evidence is pointing the opposite direction. Why are they searching Annie Guthrie's home? Why are they going through her septic tank? That's bizarre. Why are they towing away a car from her house that apparently belonged to Nancy? That's fucking weird. That's just bizarre. Anyways, ABC News, fill us in. What do you know that I don't?
FBI agents seen doing an extensive search in the foothills of the Catalina Mountains with no sign of Nancy Guthrie. Investigators looking through brush and along roads for anything the man seen on video at the 84-year-old's front door might have discarded.
Any debris that was thrown out on the side of the road, anything that was dropped on the side of the road, it could be really, a piece of paper, something with a fingerprint on it. I've been in these cases where, you'll go back and we found cell phones 2-3 days later.
The latest surge coming after police questioned and released a man who says he's a delivery driver. Sources say he was on investigators' radar before the doorbell video was released, and that the FBI wanted to speak with him after looking at digital data, including cell phone usage and traffic data.
They told me I was being detained for kidnapping. And I asked him, well, kidnapping of who? And they told me this lady, I don't know her name. And,
Nancy Guthrie?
This fucking lady, I don't know her name. I love this guy. This guy who was questioned and then, by the way, let go. I don't know if it was ICE that grabbed him or something, but based on his accent, I'd assume he's going, fucking, hey, I didn't know this lady and shit.
He says he has nothing to do with Guthrie's kidnapping.
They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name.
Clear my name and shit.
Look at what I'm putting my family through.
Look at what they're putting my family through and shit.
Those two ransom notes demanding $6 million in Bitcoin with deadlines that have since passed and no proof of life.
It's difficult to locate and rescue the person who's been kidnapped. The complexity of these investigations have been made even more intense because kidnappers are increasingly using technology to plan these operations, to receive the ransoms in these operations, and to avoid detection by...
This was never about a ransom, and if you think that it was, you're kind of dumb. That's okay. But that's okay, let me enlighten you. I don't think that you're dumb. I think that maybe your friends, family, but you're smart. You and me, we're smart. Ladies and gentlemen, what we think was a ransom situation was obviously not the case. Why was her blood all over the front of the doorstep? I think during the interaction, she might have died. I think that, during the time of pulling her out of the house, she might have died. And they don't want to admit that. And I've already said that the man in the mask already looks like her son, the brother of Savannah Guthrie. No one concurs with my analysis, but that's fine. I love being a visionary and being proven right by the catalogs of history.
Closely analyzing that doorbell video and every detail from the person's weapon, clothing, backpack, and even mannerisms. Since that doorbell video was released, more than 4,000 calls have flooded into the tip lines with a total of 18,000 tips since Guthrie vanished.
Damn, that's a lot. I mean, what about the black gloves? Anything?
Say more than than 4,000 calls have been made to a tip line related to the surge.
Yeah, we get it.
FBI agents were conducting an extensive search along roadways in Tucson, Arizona, where she lives. CBS News has learned a pair of black gloves was found near Guthrie's home.
Who cares? Let's be really honest. The FBI, they're analyzing the footage. They're not going to... Are they really going to see who did it through the mask? Are they going to be able to tell that it was her son who pulled her into a van? I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it severely, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know where this case is going, but I kind of do. And I think we all kind of do. But it's the rude... It's not nice to say where it is going, and it's considered nihilistic, and I will not be that, because this is a happy show that where we like to have a good time, ladies and gentlemen. And speaking of a good time, I had an amazing time hanging out today. Thursday, as usual, it was a very fun one. You know, we got the last broadcast of the week, Friday, you know what I mean? Subscribe if you want to be there for it. Ring the bell if you want notifications, like if you liked it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this episode. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your viewership. I'll catch you in the final broadcast of the week. We'll be back next week, Monday through Friday, but you know, we take the weekend off. In the meantime, this has been Ollie Vogt Larson with your Brain on Air. Thank you so much for listening, and bye-bye.